Hi everybody, it's Franz again, Fractal Trading. Let's have a look at where the fractals are located this week and where we can enter the market to hopefully catch a new trend somewhere. First off, something that we haven't talked about for a while is the British pound dollar. We all know the Brexit vote is coming up. I'm not too concerned about it since whatever news may be around, I'm just following wherever the market goes, and the same is true for this market here. It was actually today that we saw the British pound tanking, and on the weekly chart you have your fractal being hit. If you take a look right there where the black line is at a price level of 143.30, you got your fractal breakout into the overall trend direction. After this trend had moved, you saw this correction right here. Prices are coming from below the balance zone through it, and then trade on top of it a little bit, and then breaking those fractals that are located here and continuing the old trend. This correction here was bigger, as you can see, compared to this one. The momentum indicator in the current correction did not go above the zero line. It did in this correction though. However, the fractal has been taken, and I sold here. My stop is right on top of here. Let's see how far this continues. It's going to be another I think 2 weeks or a week and a half until the Brexit vote is actually happening. Let's see how much volatility and indecision that will bring into this market. I'm not too concerned about it right now though. Taking a look at the euro dollar, again a huge correction still underway. We did see 4 weeks in a row coming down from above the balance zone right into this kind of equilibrium state. The momentum indicator shows you that you are in a correction. It switches from below to above and from above to below the zero line all the time. That's what it simply will do inside of a correction. The last week, not this week, but the last week was stronger. You saw this pair trading to the upside. This week it's slower again. We don't really see too much price action on the weekly time frame here. As you can see, it needs one more week to create a fractal down here. This would be the next opportunity to sell as the markets or this market becomes weaker and weaker and takes that fractal to continue what is also the previous trend to the downside. So overall in the euro dollar we are down, and we are looking for a continuous sell signal here. Of course that does take some time, and you want to have the patience in that. Having a look at the Australian dollar, it's just as weak as the euro, the British pound as well against the dollar right now. You can also see this huge downtrend, really a huge one here, being corrected. You get this major correction here. You have divergence in the previous trend. If you just want to follow these lines right here, you can even put in another one here and look at this as a double divergence. That actually sent prices up into a major correction. What you now get at the end of this week, it's not marked in my chart right now, but what you will get is a fractal breakout signal tonight as the markets are closing. So make sure you put in your sell order right there to go short the Australian dollar. If we just take a look at the monthly chart, you should see clearly that this market is still down and it has a little bit to go. You do get a new support area in this fractal zone. The next one will be right on this level here. When you take a look at the low from 2008, that is at 1, or no, not 1, at 0.6018 actually. We do have a little bit to go until we are hitting that price level. So all of those currency pairs against the dollar seem to be heading downwards. The indices are taking a very interesting development this week as well. The German 30 CFD, which is the DAX index, as you can see on this monthly chart, is inside, or used to trade inside, the balance zone ever since the month of August in 2015, and it looked like it was going to come from the downside to the upside, but it seems to be failing at this area right here. You get the top at 10,500 approximately. This will be a monthly fractal if this month of June is able to stay below the balance zone and below that high. So now, as prices are below the balance zone, you are looking to sell this market. When you take this down one time frame to the weekly chart, you can see this fractal breakout marked by that black line here was taken, but price never got going. The last 2 weeks have been really, really weak, and this week, especially today, seems to be a little bit of a decision day. Maybe that is too soon to say, but it doesn't take this market a whole lot to take out the fractal here, the fractal breakout at 9,734 points. Should that be the case, then you have your next support level. The outer border of that would be right around here, while you have other or minor support levels in between. So reaching an area right in between 8,350 and somewhere in here 8.7 maybe could be the next target for this market to reach. We'll really have to wait, of course. Just selling in here is good enough with appropriate risk management. This is the European indices. Actually, those are the weakest of them all right now. If you compare them to the US indices, if you look at the UK, actually I don't have a UK chart here right now, but if you look at at Australia as well, you will see that the European indices are the weakest. They are the ones who have stayed inside the balance zone the longest, even below the balance zone. If you take a look at the Euro Stocks, and they are the first ones right now hitting the breakout to sell. It also occurred in the FTSE MIB index, which is the Italian indice. FXCM is actually shutting this one down since there's no trading activity from people, but that market had really been in a nice downtrend, and this would have been a nice continuation signal which was hit today. I wasn't able to enter it since FXCM cut off that market. You can only close your position on that market. Taking a look at the US indices, you can see that we did have this uptrend. I already talked about it. There were these 4 fractals at the high here, and this high I'm sorry, this high was actually penetrated today. Not today, this week, and prices weren't able to take it higher. The market is closing lower. It looks like at 8 p.m. here in Germany on this Friday. It doesn't look like there is too much steam to the upside in this uptrend still. However, if you're a trend follower, you're long from this breakout. Hopefully, or what you always have to, pay attention to your risk management so you don't lose too much. A possible stop as of now would be this fractal here. You just have to make a decision here how long you are holding this, getting out, pulling up stops tight as your rules tell you to do. We don't know where these indices are going. We just have to let it play out. We're taking a short in the European indices, and we'll see what happens in the US indices. To me, this uptrend, this kind of correction that we see here, without making an all-time high, it's not just gonna go down and collapse. I think it's gonna hit that new all-time high, or at least some sort of double top, and then go down or even go higher. We will have to see. Play the market, follow the market, don't trade your thoughts. Taking a really quick look at gold here towards the end of this week's update, you can see from last week where we bounced off that fractal support. This week continued to be very strong. We are now in the area where I said that price might as well pause a little bit after bouncing from the fractal area, and before it's able to take out this fractal in its uptrend, or we don't know if it's an uptrend yet. It might bounce around here, maybe even all throughout the summer before it takes that, or before it goes down more. We'll really have to see. This development though supports an uptrend. The balance zone is still acting as strong support. As you can see, we are above it again. Just a little pause, a little breathing in this area would be nice. Maybe to even get a better entry signal, and then this market may go higher. Please remember, the monthly chart is still trying to maybe create a fractal. If not, you get a new high in this area. We are above the balance zone. The momentum is turning green as we get continuous closes here for 2, 3, 4 months in a row. Then to the upside above the balance zone, you can actually be sure that this is an uptrend, and then you can simply buy everything on the lower time frames, because you do have this new trend direction after a whole 4-year correction where trend traders, trend followers really had some issues trading this market well. And that was it for this week's update. Thanks for watching the videos, and see you soon.